You think you know where the ultra-wealthy live in Monmouth County, but I promise you what's hidden behind the driveways and mature trees in this county would surprise even longtime locals. We're not just talking about big houses, we're talking about a level of privacy, lifestyle, and long-term value that most people never get to see close up. I'm Melissa DeSantis, and welcome back to my channel. On this channel, I talk about anything and everything related to living here in Monmouth County. I've been selling in this market for almost 20 years, personally working with buyers and sellers in the 2 million to 10 million range. And today I'm giving you the insider's tour of where New Jersey's wealthiest 1% actually choose to plant their roots. I want to be clear about something right from the start. This isn't just a list of towns with expensive zip codes. I'm going to tell you why these specific areas attract generational wealth, celebrities, hedge fund managers, and executives who could genuinely live anywhere in the world, but choose to be right here, just 60 minutes from Manhattan. We're talking about people like Bruce Springsteen, John Bon Jovi, professional athletes, Wall Street executives, and entrepreneurs who have the means to pick up and go, but keep coming back to Monmouth County. A large portion of the most significant transactions in these towns never hit Zillow or Realtor.com. They happen quietly off market through private networks and relationships built over years. So what I'm showing you today is really the visible surface of a much deeper market. Let's get into it. Starting with number 3, and that is Spring Lake. Now, if you've never been to Spring Lake, your first impression might be that it's simply a charming Jersey Shore town. Tree-lined streets, beautiful Victorian homes, a pristine boardwalk, and you'd be right. But that charm is actually one of the most carefully preserved things about this town. And preservation in real estate means value. Spring Lake is often called the Irish Riviera, a nickname that's stuck because of the strong Irish Catholic community that's called this town home for generations. But that nickname honestly undersells just how exclusive this market has become. The median listing price sits around $1.5 million, but that's just your entry point into the conversation. The moment you start talking about oceanfront, that number changes dramatically. Oceanfront properties in Spring Lake regularly range from $3 million on the lower end to $10 million and beyond, depending on the size, the lot, frontage, and whether you have direct beach access versus an ocean view. I recently showed a client an oceanfront home listed around $3.2 million. And what made it so compelling wasn't just the views, it was everything surrounding the property. Private cabana houses, just steps from the sand, an unobstructed Atlantic horizon at a level of quiet that is genuinely rare at the Jersey Shore. There were no loud beach bars, no off-season emptiness that makes some shore towns feel forgotten. Spring Lake maintains its dignity year-round, and buyers pay a premium for that. Now, compare that to towns like Point Pleasant or even Long Branch, which are wonderful in their own right, but they have a very different energy. More commercial, more accessible to the general public. Spring Lake is deliberately not that. The zoning laws here are incredibly strict, and the town has fought hard to keep overdevelopment out. That means supply stays low, demand stays steady, and long-term value remains protected. The buyer profile here is really a fascinating blend. On one side, you have old money families who've been summering in Spring Lake for 3 or 4 generations, whose grandparents bought oceanfront cottages that are now worth millions. On the other side, you have newer buyers, professionals and executives coming out of New York, who want a second home that feels like a genuine escape without sacrificing proximity to the city. It's about a 90-minute drive from Midtown on a good day, and that accessibility matters. And what a lot of buyers don't fully appreciate until they experience it is the walkability here. You can walk to the beach, to the lake, to the boardwalk, to the small, understated downtown without ever feeling like you're in a tourist trap. And in the luxury market, that kind of effortless lifestyle is incredibly hard to replicate. So when I talk to buyers who are weighing their options along the shore, Spring Lake always comes up as the refined choice. The one that holds its value, maintains its character, and never stops feeling special. Before we get into number 2, I want to pause for a second, because if you're watching this and starting to think seriously about where you fit into this market, whether you're buying a primary home or a second home, or you're at a life stage where downsizing actually makes financial sense, I want to make sure you have a resource that can help you think through this. I put together a downsizing guide specifically for luxury homeowners navigating this kind of market. Pricing strategy, timing, preparation, presentation, every single detail matters and can cost or earn you significant money. So I'll link that guide below, and I encourage you to download it even if you're just starting to explore your options. Number 2, and this is where the lifestyle starts to shift in a really dramatic way. We're heading inland now to Colts Neck, and Colts Neck represents something you don't see everywhere in New Jersey: a true commitment to space, privacy, and land preservation. If Spring Lake is about refined shore living, Colts Neck is about disappearing into your own world in the absolute best way. The median listing price here is around $1.6 million. But again, that baseline tells only a fraction of the story. And I've personally worked on transactions that have spanned from $1.5 million all the way up to $7 million. Custom-built estates with full equestrian facilities, resort-style pools, detached guest houses, and amenities that rival 5-star resorts. And when I say you're paying for land here, I mean it. We're talking about 2, 5, 10 plus acre properties with gated entries and driveways so long you can't see the house from the road. These are homes where you step outside and feel genuinely removed from the world. No neighbors in your sightline, no noise from a busy street, just open sky and your own private piece of New Jersey. Now, one of the defining characteristics of Colts Neck, and honestly one of its biggest draws, is its equestrian culture. This town has a long history rooted in horse farms and riding trails, and the agricultural zoning that protects that culture is a huge part of what keeps Colts Neck exactly as it is. Even as surrounding towns continue to develop and densify, Colts Neck maintains that open, almost countryside feel, and that's not an accident. It's a deliberate protected identity, and it's extremely valuable to the right buyer. The buyer profile in Colts Neck skews toward what I'd call successful new money. Entrepreneurs, business owners, athletes, executives who have earned significant wealth and want to build something that reflects their success. They want new construction, open floor plans, smart home systems, maybe an indoor basketball court or a movie theater. They want to entertain on a grand scale, but also have the ability to completely retreat from the world when they need to. Colts Neck delivers both. And here's something that surprises a lot of people when they start looking seriously at this town. Despite how private and removed it feels, you're actually remarkably well positioned geographically. You're 15 to 20 minutes from the beach, you're close to multiple private airports, you're within reach of everything Monmouth County has to offer, from top-rated schools to excellent dining and shopping. It's isolation without isolation, if that makes sense. One question I get a lot from buyers at this price point is Colts Neck or Rumson? And my honest answer is always the same. It depends on what kind of life you want to live, because they are genuinely different lifestyles at sometimes similar price points. Colts Neck is land and privacy. Rumson is waterfront prestige and community. Choosing between them without a real strategy can be a costly mistake. So if that's a decision you're facing, that's a conversation worth having. You can always text or call me directly at 732-757-2522 and we'll work through it together. And now, number 1, the crown jewel of Monmouth County luxury real estate, Rumson. If Colts Neck is where new money builds its dream, Rumson is where old money quietly and confidently lives. The median listing price in Rumson is just over $3 million, which tells you something significant about the baseline here. But that number is almost always misleading because the most coveted properties in this town, the waterfront estates along the Navesink and Shrewsbury rivers, trade well above that. We're talking $4 million, $6 million, $8 million, and in some cases beyond for homes that offer a combination of privacy, setting, and legacy that you simply cannot find elsewhere in this county. What defines Rumson is that it's not just real estate. It's generational real estate. These are properties that families hold on to and pass down, where the home you buy today becomes the home your children and grandchildren gather at for decades. That kind of emotional value is baked into the market here, and it's part of why demand stays so strong even when the broader market shifts. Now, yes, this is the town where Bruce Springsteen and John Bon Jovi have owned homes, where you'll find professional athletes and Wall Street power players living as neighbors. But what's striking is how unflashy Rumson actually is. You won't find loud displays of wealth here. You won't find people trying to outdo each other with gold-plated gates and pretentious architecture. The wealth in Rumson is quiet and confident, hidden behind mature trees and winding driveways and homes that respect their natural surroundings rather than competing with them. That understated elegance extends to the lifestyle Rumson offers as a whole. Top-ranked schools that draw serious families, access to some of the most prestigious private beach clubs and yacht clubs in the region, a quick and convenient commute into Manhattan via ferry or train, and a sense of community that feels genuinely tight-knit despite their extraordinary wealth. People in Rumson aren't transient. They're invested in their homes, in their town, and in each other. When I talk to buyers who are deciding between Rumson and somewhere like the Hamptons, the conversation is always interesting because for decades, the Hamptons carried this perception of being the ultimate flex in the Northeast luxury market. But buyers are increasingly realizing that Rumson offers more privacy, more space, significantly better value per square foot, and arguably better access to the city without the traffic nightmare that defines a Hampton summer weekend. And once a buyer actually spends time in Rumson, it's very hard to go back to being undecided. So here's the bigger picture I want you to take away from all of this. Whether it's the oceanfront refinement of Spring Lake, the sprawling private estates of Colts Neck, or the waterfront prestige and old money elegance of Rumson, Monmouth County is offering a level of luxury living that genuinely competes with, and in many cases outperforms, the most recognized high-end markets in the entire Northeast. The difference is that you have to know where to look and have to understand how the market actually operates. Because as I mentioned in the beginning, the best properties in these towns are often never publicly listed. They change hands through relationships, through private networks, through conversations that happen before anything ever hits the MLS. That's the world I operate in every day, and it's exactly why having the right agent in your corner makes an enormous difference in what you're able to accomplish. So if you're thinking about buying or selling at this level in the next 6 months, or even if you're just beginning to think seriously about your options, reach out to me directly. You can call or text me at 732-757-2522 or find me through the links below. I'm always happy to sit down, understand your goals, and help you build a strategy that actually makes sense for where you are and where you want to go. If this video was helpful, please hit subscribe because I'm always sharing what's actually happening behind the scenes in Monmouth County, the things most people never get access to.